So the powers you get in Elysium, and I call them powers. Powers in relation to the way the other games use them. Each one's got their own gimmick. They've got their own gimmick mini game as well that the players and GM coordinate together and play. But they all have their own powers thing too. Like with Mutant, you have your mutant powers you can activate, or you might have some sort of like psionics thing you can call on, the wee 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 or whatever. Or you might, when with the Gen Lab Alpha, you might have your animal feral powers, and with all of this, you use your resource points that are limited, and use however many of them. And if you tend to roll like ones or whatever, or a 1 when you use the power or something, there can be some sort of backlash, and you roll on a chart for that backlash and see what's going to happen. Now, Elysium does something for its powers in a similar way. So, instead of like a direct, it's done in a very indirect way. So rather than like a very direct way, whereas you yourself would, I don't know, when you're an animal mutant, you might activate some sort of crazy climbing ability suddenly and be able to get up a tree and use like a vertical thing. Instead of doing a move roll to escape, you just activate your power, and we'll roll the die and check to see if you have a feral problem break out and you forget how to speak or something for the day. But Elysium is different. It uses the same idea, but it's different. It uses contacts. So as adjudicator, you have a number of contacts based on your age, and I'm not sure whether this list of contacts is able to grow as the game goes on. I'd assume you may be able to gain contacts. I'd be open-minded to letting people gain contacts in relevant situations, if you've met a particular person and they could then potentially become your contact. But this is a game about, that social thing. So rather than you activating something deep within yourself, being able to call upon somebody else And the other thing about the contacts is that you use influence points, and these influence points do not carry over. In fact, they renew at the beginning of each gaming session, and you will receive a number of them equal to your houses. Remember, each person has a house they're from in that Dune style. Yeah, your house's total number of control points in the strategic game, because there's always the strategic game going on in the background for however much points total each of the 4 houses are in, and that gives you your initial access to influence points. And then you can basically do you can gain extra influence points by attempting to cultivate your contact. So, and you can never have more than 10 influence points. So you could do something like performing some sort of service for them, and the bigger the risk to you, the degree to which you do it, you can add 1, 2, or 3 influence points to that pop, basically. And you can spend a number of influence points depending on which contact you've got, and it will tell you, sometimes you spend 1 influence point or 1 to 3 influence points or whatever to activate that contact or attempt to. And however many influence points you spend, you then roll that many dice, and if any of those come up with 1s, there's a contact backlash which you then have to roll on a chart for. So it's the same idea all over again, same as the spell casting with Forbidden Lands. That's how its powers work here, basically. You calling upon contacts. And just like some of the other things with some of the other games, at least with the robots one, with the modules, I think they were called, you can't have the same contact as somebody else. So also, if you've got a contact of that type, you would name them because they'd probably be part of your house. So they would have your house as their surname, and then, you know, you could give them a name or whatever. So, I mean, contacts you can call upon would be like assassin, black sheep, butler, club owner, deadbeat child, dear uncle, faithful spouse, favourite child, feared father, gangster, grandfather's trove, judge, loan shark, mentor, paramour, powerful mother, rich aunt, robot servant, snitch, and thug. So you could call on them. You know, you may have 1, 2, or 3, or however many of these contacts on hand, and they help you in different ways. So just like a snitch, right? You have a friend in the underworld. For 1 influence point, you can get information about an individual or event in the enclave/community, such as the location of a person or something they have done. If the information might put the informant at risk, the GM may raise the price to 2 or 3 IP. It cannot be used to reveal which house is behind an incident in the enclave. So, I mean, that's how snitch can be used, for example. Or if you've got the assassin one, you can try and have them target someone and take them out for you, you know. So 2 very completely different examples right there from just 2 of the contacts. And it's just another way of playing the game, and using those powers. And it's thematic, and it will give you an idea of what Elysium's about, basically. You know, these police people, and it's, you know, it's who you know and who you can call upon, and using your house to best benefit. But remember, only 1 of each. So whoever gets the assassins, say, only they have an assassin on hand. Maybe only 1, you know, if you've got a snitch, only that 1 person gets access to that snitch to use his power, to, you know, his favor giving to help you out. And I wouldn't say it's limited per session. It's going to be influenced by how many influence points you have. You know, if you have enough influence points, you can, you know, go for it again with them, or you know, you're just risking backlash, really, and the backlash might start to get costly or be problematic in some sort of way. And that's kind of the fun of, really, those charts. You don't kind of know what's going to happen, and I, as a GM, don't try to look at those charts too much, because I enjoy the surprises they come up on the day as well. It's like, I'm laughing along with the players. It's like, guess what's just happened? All right, this is great. So yeah, that's how the powers system works in Elysium. Unique. See you at the next one.